People who don't like me don't stop my praise. The enemy is doing the absolute best he can to discourage you and to whip you to make you feel like you're not gonna make it to your next. Do I have a witness in here? Because you don't need to be around somebody that's intimidated about your future. You don't need to be sitting by somebody that's jealous of what God's getting ready to do. If you are discouraged that yoke tonight has been broken, I come tonight with a prophetic declaration that there is nothing that shall be able to stop you from getting to the place that God has ordained for you to be. Whatever is standing before you, it has no power. Tell them you are unstoppable. You're unstoppable.
All right, so we're up, we're here, we're running, and we're ready to go. Everybody hear me, right? If you can hear me right now, click the thumbs up button. If you hear me right now, click the like button. Let's make sure say una hear me. Once me see the like button start for move, then me know say una hear me and we now have no issues tonight. If me not see the like button and move, then that means una hear me, and that simply means I'm there to talk to myself tonight. Me see the like button and jump 11111. So it look like una hear me then. Alright, good. Wagwan family, so I know I'm 17 minutes late, running to a little bit hiccup a while ago, but as Mr. Kizzy say, them need to remember say we name unstoppable and nothing can stop with though. Exactly. I understand. So when we get a false start a while ago, all right, and we had a lot of likes on the false start, but me have to restart again. So that simply means I want everybody just rush back over there and click that thumbs up button once again so that we get the numbers back up. All right, and probably all I would click on before and miss out because it was a false start, we just share it out back again so that them know say we return. Alright, so since me start late, I'm not gonna waste too much time with too much long talking. I'm gonna jump right into the show. But of course, you know, me have to make sure say me pay the credits to who keep the light turn on. Alright, and that's Slam IPTV. Slam IPTV is a continued sponsor of the Unstoppable Live program, and with Slam you can get the greatest channels from no matter where you want channels from, you can get it. Alright, we are talking about all the hottest prime movie channels. We are talking about all the hottest stations anywhere in the world. No matter where you're there, you can get it from Slam. Slam IPTV, you can check them on Facebook and Instagram at Slam_IPTV. Also, you can call them via WhatsApp or you can contact them straight, and the number is 647-858-4337. It is that simple. Alright, now when you reach out to Slam family, remember, ask them about the yearly package, because that right there is the best and sweetest deal you can get from Slam. Alright, pay one time and have to worry about nothing again. Alright, now we have a guest tonight. Oh, tonight's topic is a disturbing and sad one. She lost her son and she felt as if it's due to negligence and neglect, right? And she is unable to get any form of justice, or she's seeking justice, you know, for the death of her son. She's here to tell us what happened, and also she needs a bit of advice and help from the Unstoppable family. So if anyone is out there right now and listening into what she has to share and you want to give her some advice, remember, lock the number in your phone. It's 754-317-5747 via WhatsApp. All right, and you can call in at the end of the program once I say the phone line is open, and you will be able to talk to this lady. All right, so I'm going to introduce the guest to the program tonight, but before I do that, remember we have rules on this show. There is never ever ever disrespect allowed. You're never ever allowed to call my guest a fool, a dunce, a idiot, a jackass, a yammed, or anything like that, or else you will be blocked by either myself or one of my moderators. And trust me, my moderators them work. So if you feel like a joke thing, disrespect and see where go on. All right, now that is out of the way, let's introduce the guest to the program so we can hear exactly what's going on with her. Carla, good night to you. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing well.
That's good to hear. All right, so your situation is a sad one, like you heard me mention just now. You know, losing anyone, whether it be a son or a peer, a child or a parent, you know, it's always hard wrenching losing someone. Now I know you lost your son, and I'm gonna give you the platform right now so that you can tell us what happened and the situation, the ordeal that's going on with you. Okay,
Okay.
go right ahead. I want you to start from the very beginning and just let us know everything. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll say good evening and good night to your listeners wherever they are. Now, my experience relates to the negligence, the treatment of my son who had a medical condition. Now, this condition is called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. There are other types of muscle disorder, which is called simply muscular dystrophy. But of the group of disorders, the Duchenne sufferer tends to be boys, and they don't live very long, so the medics say. Now, my son was induced for reasons I don't know, because prior to my son, I had 3 other children, 2 girls and a boy, and neither of them were induced. The child before the son that I'm speaking about, he was induced, and he's now left with a learning disability. Now, Omar, the one in question, he was born in 1993, and he was induced. Now, obviously, having other children, you know the development and, you know, the different stages of development of a baby, toddler to a little child. And I noticed Omar kept falling over regular. This continued, and I went to my doctor and I mentioned it, and he was dismissive. He said, "Oh, nothing's wrong with your son." Anyway, it continued until he started primary school, and he was falling over. And because he was falling over, the children thought, "Oh, he's just a weakling," and they took disadvantage and pushed him over. And he would tell me, and I complained to the school. And what the school did, they took a blood test, and they then said he's suffering from Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Well, I've never heard of the name, so I didn't know what it was. I was advised that Omar would deteriorate to the state where he would become wheelchair bound and unable to, you know, carry out any task on his own. Well, Omar was a determined child, and he would say, "I'm going to fight this. I'm going to walk. I'm not going to end up in a wheelchair," which I liked. And it continued and continued until I moved from a previous address that I was living. At that time, the local authority wanted to modernize it for Omar's needs, you know, at a later stage when, as they said, he would become disabled. Well, when I moved from that address into the current address, they carried over the same plans. Now, those plans at the time were for a ground floor alteration and also a first floor alteration. Now, carrying over those same alterations to this property for a single ground floor adaptation doesn't sound feasible, but that's what they wanted to do. The long and short of it is, there should have been a meeting with the local authority, the contractors, and myself to discuss what would have taken place in terms of, the adaptation works. A letter was sent out, I remember to this day, saying on the 24th of September 2004, a meeting will take place following an appointment. That never happened. I enrolled at a local college, in the meantime, and, waited for this letter. Letter never arrived. One evening I came home to find the property taped off, and the neighbours was up in arms with the work. And I'm saying, what work? I haven't authorised any work. So I went to the neighbourhood office and I made a complaint. The local authority sent the contractor to my property in an insulting way, where he handed me 6 A4 copies of the same plans of the works that they had started. Now, the difficulty with the work is that they constructed the foundation over 2 sewage chambers. Now, anyone with common sense would know that you cannot do such a thing, because the drains are public drains, and because it's a sewage chambers, ready access is needed in the event of a blocked drain or something, in the vicinity, because those drains were in my garden, so access was needed at all times. I put this to the council and they ignored me. I brought some builder friends to look at it and they were saying, that's not right, that's not right. Another friend of mine who's an architect, he did some research and he did some print off from Severn Trent, the water board, where it was stated that any works carried out without first notifying the water boards, the owner of the property would be prosecuted at the stage that they wanted to sell the property. So again, I took that to the council and they dismissed me of it and didn't want to know. So I issued court proceedings against them. Now, at the time, I had no legal training, just basic common sense knowledge that trespass was done to my property, works were being carried out, and there was no contract. Now, obviously, when it got to court, it was said that I hadn't adhered to the protocol of the court, i.e., the cause of action wasn't set out properly, no particulars of claim, and so forth and so forth. The local authority defended the claim, and in their defense, they stated that there was a contract and I had agreed for the work to be carried out. I knew this wasn't true. So I contacted the radio station and they sent out a surveyor. And he wrote a report and referred me to a solicitor. Now, when I issued the court case, that was in the February, I saw the surveyor in the March and I went to see the solicitor in the April. And from the April until the October, the solicitor did nothing. When I said nothing, he communicated with the local authority But what he should have done is communicate with the legal department, because the matter was now in court. So now we're dealing with solicitors. It so happened that my application was dismissed without a hearing. Now, when that happened, there's a choice of asking for the matter to be stayed, varied, or set aside. Now, I asked for it to be set aside, where I could get, additional advice and put the papers properly, which I thought the solicitor would have done. He didn't do that. It so happened that the hearing date came for the set aside, and I was up in front of the judge again without any legal assistance, because, as I said, the solicitor didn't do what I was paying him for. Yes, I was paying. And that second judge that heard the set aside matter repeated what the first judge had said. He said the matter wasn't marshaled properly, and he would have to agree with the first judge to dismiss the case. But what he did do, out of sympathy, he didn't dismiss it totally. He dismissed it, but allowing me to go and get the case properly marshaled. I went back to the solicitor and I said, look, the case hasn't been dismissed in total. I do have another chance to put it right. Now, during the time that I was seeing him, I paid at least £2,000, but each occasion it was like 500, 550, and so on and so on. When I went back to see him now, his fees has changed to £6,000 for a mediation, and I'm thinking £6,000. Anyway, he didn't carry on with the case, or rather, I should say, I left him and I went to a free representation unit, and again they draft the papers properly, and it was filed in court. But again, the council and their contractors were insisting that there was a contract and they had permission from me to carry out the work, which again I know was incorrect. That continued and continued because court procedures and hearing isn't straightforward. There's different types of hearings. Now, one of the hearings that I attended, it was said that I needed again to marshal the document properly. I was referred to a pro bono unit.
Okay, before you continue,
And
let's clear up a few things for the viewers who a bit lost. All right.
yeah,
What is it the hearings for that you're attending?
okay, the hearing, the initial hearing was for trespass and well, basically trespass because there was no contract. Now, in a nutshell, the matter concerned my disabled son, because what should have happened, the adaptation should have been for the benefit of my son. As I said, he was deteriorating, and at a certain stage, he would have needed a powered wheelchair. Therefore, the adaptation would have been accessible for his needs: an ensuite bathroom, ceiling track, the powered wheelchair, as I said, and specialist bathroom with specialist equipment, bath, tub, and closet toilet. So everything should have been for his benefit to keep him as comfortable as possible
And he was
for the remainder.
he was under your care, or he was at the facility?
No, no, it was under my care, living with me from birth. At that time, he was around about 10 years old.
Okay, so he was
So
still,
he was,
all this hearing that you're attending, he was still alive at this time, right?
oh, yes, yes. We're talking about 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 2009, as I said, the matter was drafted by a housing barrister, and he advised that I file it. I filed it in court, and again, the council defended it, saying there was a contract. Again, I said there was never a contract. Now, what happened with that? I approached an architect who was listed in the Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Handbook, because I thought, yes, he would be the appropriate person. He came out and he looked at the work and he condemned it. And he wrote me a report of how it should have been done. And he also condemned the fact that it was built over the sewage chambers. Now, with that, I took it to court, and the judge ordered that we attend a mediation rather than go to trial. At the mediation, I was told, yes, they would demolish the half-built extension and allow for a second extension to be built correctly. This was 2010. It went on to 2012. Nothing was done. They did demolish it, but no work was carried out. I was told to get new plans. All that was done. Nothing happened for 2 years. 2012, another application was made. And sorry, before I said that, Omar had a Make-A-Wish opportunity, and before he traveled, he wanted to swim at the dolphins in Florida. Now, in order to do that, his consultant had to agree the possibility whether he could travel. They sent a district nurse to my property to draw blood from Omar, but they discovered that his veins were constricted, either constricted or restricted. So we couldn't, the blood wasn't able to be drawn. The nurse was very shocked at the sight of the property because, number one, being a Duchenne sufferer, you have to be warm. The minimum is 24 degrees at all times, round the clock. So she went back and she made a report to the GP. The GP made referrals to the local authority, and then they sent out 2 further occupational therapists who carried out the assessment. Now, this was done in 2012, as I said. With this, I specifically ticked the box on the application that I wanted the preferred option. Now, the preferred option allows me to appoint my own architect and contractors to carry out the work, because I didn't want to fall in the same situation as the first adaptation. Now, I hadn't filed the application. I merely filled in part of it. My builder was on holiday, so I left his section blank. The said architect that I located in the Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Handbook, I asked him to come and amend a 45-degree angle that the planning officer had said we needed to do. Now, what had happened, this man sent me to the neighbor to get party wall agreement signed. And whilst I had left him in the property, he snatched the application form. And what he did thereafter, he submitted that to the local authority, making himself my agent. Now, as I said, this was December 2012. I had left my property to spend the holiday with my daughter, who lives about 100 miles away. in the March, my nephew called me and says, there are workmen in your rear garden carrying out construction work. I was dismayed. I was emotionally shocked. Everything, I felt it because I thought it's a repeat of the first illegal works. So I hurried home and I appointed an independent builder to assess what was done. He assessed it and said, certain irregularities was done. I took it to the local authority and I said, look, I didn't appoint this person to do any work, and why was there a trespass? They then said, I appointed the architect. I said, I didn't. So what I did, I made a request under the Freedom of Information, and I was so dismayed. They also sent the response that I was in contract with this architect, and any information that I requested, I was to ask him. I asked how much was the amount of money that was awarded. They gave the amount, etc., etc., but then they would still refer me to the architect. The architect wouldn't respond to anything other than on the 19th of the 19th of April, 2013, the local authority began to threaten me to take my son from his bedroom on the first floor of the property to put him on the ground floor where it was cold. Their argument was, oh, it's safer to be on the ground floor in the event of a fire. Now, I've lived here for 21 years. I've never had a fire. Now, the day that my son was brought to the ground floor, the 19th of April 2013, within hours, he was rushed to hospital suffering from pneumonia, heart failure, and various other disorders. He remained on life support for 4 days, but remained in intensive care for 12 days. On the 23rd of April, remember he was admitted in hospital on the 19th of April. On the 23rd of April, I had received a telephone call whilst in the hospital from the local authority and the architect telling me to meet them at home to discuss, a way forward to complete the adaptation. I thought, wow, let me rush home to get this thing sorted. When I got home, the local authority, the architect, and their contractors were already waiting in the garden. I was then pressured under duress to sign a pre-prepared document asking that I unfreeze the grant, which I'd previously told them to freeze until everything was sorted. They then pressurized me to unfreeze it, telling me that if I unfreeze the monies, they will complete the adaptation before my son is discharged from hospital. I was a bit dubious because I thought, this doesn't sound right. Anyway, I had a friend with me and he said, yes, for the benefit of your son, sign the document. I signed the document on the 23rd of April, 2013. I checked the property from the 23rd to the 29th, the date that they promised to complete the adaptation. They didn't do that. So on the 29th of April, I wrote to the council telling them that I rescind the agreement. On the 1st of May, I sent a second copy by recorded delivery telling them the same thing, that I rescind the agreement because they have breached the contract to even nail a hammer into the works to put it right. My son was discharged from hospital on the 4th of May, back into the cold, because I was threatened not to take him to the first floor, but to leave him on the ground floor. The long and short of that, I appointed a solicitor, not because of the adaptation matter, but because whilst my son was in hospital, after only being there for a few hours, they wanted to switch the life support machine off. Luckily, my daughter's friend's grandmother came to the hospital and she said, no, 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 get in touch with the solicitor. She named the solicitor. So because of that, my son remained on life support. So this solicitor now, having heard the situation, she contacted the local authority and the architect for disclosures. But again, they refused to provide it. Instead of providing the disclosures, the council then issued an inherent jurisdiction application against me and my son for the High Court to remove my son's mental capacity. Now, the Dushan doesn't affect the mental capacity. It's a muscle disorder. That was in court from 2013 to 2014, where the MP assisted me in court, and obviously he carried more clout than I do. So the judges tend to listen to him. And as a result, the local authority withdrew their application after almost 18 months. But at the same time, they didn't make any provisions for the adaptation. So that was a waste of time, them issuing this claim. Everything remained as it was. Omar came back home. We were remaining in the cold house. But the main part of all of this, the local authorities should have paid Omar a thing called direct payment. It's a community care allowance in the form of financial award, where carers are paid to come and assist me in the home with Omar, also in the community, to attend appointments, to attend school, etc., etc. Now, from 2007, Omar never received any of this. But luckily, during this inherent jurisdiction application made by the council, they did agree to fund 88 hours of direct payment. Now, on the 24th of November 2014, as I said, the local authority withdrew their application, which was listed for 5 days in court. We all thought, yes, Omar's going to get the direct payment. But nothing happened, nothing materialized. And again, Omar was left, and I'm there having to carry him on my back up and down the stairs whenever it was too cold for him to be on the ground floor. 2018, Omar died from being in the cold. During 2014 to 2018, he contracted over 10 severe chest infections. And one of the triggers is having chest infection that leads to an early death. Now that Omar died, the carers who should have received this money now is coming after me for this money. So I then made an application in 2019 for this money. But what the barrister did wrong, he didn't advise me that I needed the letter of administration before I filed the application. So when I appeared in court on the 19th of December 2019, the local authority then said the case must be dismissed because I applied for the letter of administration after filing the claim. That said and done, there was a cost of £4,000 against me owing to the local authority. I then went to an advice centre and a legal advice centre, and they said what I needed to do was to make another application for the letter of administration and then refile the claim. I didn't know that I had to pay this £4,000 in advance, but nevertheless, I made the application and I filed it. The matter was to be heard in court on the 21st of June of last year. At the time, I didn't have any representation. So obviously the local authority had made their application for a strikeout or summary judgment or a stay. Now, what the stay mean is that until the £4,000 is paid, I cannot pursue the claim for this £390,000 that was owing. So I did everything that I could to finance a barrister under the direct access scheme. And he was very good because he did his best. But the hearing that was listed for the 21st of June last year, for some reason, we was left holding. It was a telephone hearing. We were left from 10 o'clock in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, where the local authority contacted me by telephone saying, oh, they've just been informed there wasn't a judge available for the whole day. Okay, that said and done, all that fee is down the drain. My barrister wrote an application asking that the next hearing we needed at least 3 hours to discuss formalities. The second hearing was listed for September of last year. Again, the extra hours wasn't allowed, but this time the local authority asked for the case to be vacated. And we're thinking, what is going on? Nevertheless, it was vacated by consent. The hearing, the third hearing, took place on the 23rd of June of this year. So if you watch the timeline, a whole year has now passed. On the 23rd of June, the local authority's application to dismiss the claim was dismissed. And we won, when I say we, but the barrister and myself won, in the sense that, yes, I can pursue the claim for the outstanding money. But the disadvantage to me and the carers, I should say, is that for each month that goes by, the money is evaporating. So from £391,000 and some £100, it is now down. In last year, it went down to 200 and something thousand. This year, it's down to £126,000. And it is now stayed. So until I can find this £4,000, I cannot pursue the matter. What is needed is that once the money is paid, I can then make the application to the court to lift the stay, and then the application can be made to receive the funds from the council. So in summary, what the council has done, knowing that they didn't provide any assistance for Omar for the duration of his life, I couldn't go out to work because without any carers assisting Omar, I'm his only sole carer, other than carers that I appointed and fund during the time that I attended university. Obviously, you get funds and so forth. So I was using that to fund the carers, notwithstanding that from 2014, it was ordered by the court that the council should pay 88 hours for 2 carers. So that period between 2014 to 2018 is what we are going after, because anything before that is now dead, because it now only amounts to a 6-year statute of limitation where I can pursue a claim. Now, this is where I come unstuck, because I have exhausted all my funds in funding the barristers on the 3 occasions where the matter was wasted. You know, there was no hearing for some reason. It was vacated, or there was no judge. And I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. It's affecting my health. I'm now on heart medication, um, diabetes medication. They say it's hereditary, but it's not hereditary. It to me, it's stress. It's stress related because there was no one in my family who suffered from diabetes. But I contact the Unstoppable show as a last resort because I'm hoping that somewhere, somehow, if somebody reaches out to me, I would like it to be on a contract basis or whatever, whichever way they would like it, that I could reimburse anything that is afforded to me to assist in this court case. I hope I've made my case because I know it's only an hour for the show, and I tried to summarize most of it to the best of my ability, that the listeners could understand where I'm coming from and the dilemma that I'm up against with the local authority, who I believe is being very biased, very discriminatory, knowing that Omar died through neglect, through a breach of duty of care, and through a statutory duty that is owed under legislation, where they should have provided care and provisions for Omar, not just for Omar, but for the disabled, the vulnerable, and whoever the law affords who needs the assistance. So I hope I've made my case.
Well, first of all, Carla, please accept our condolences, from myself and the entire audience. They're wishing, sending you condolences in the comments.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've been listening to you, and I'm going to say, and I'm sure the viewers will agree with me. Before I even go there, viewers, the phone line is now open. If you have a few words for this caller tonight, 754-317-5747, WhatsApp only. You can start calling now. But caller, listen, I've been listening to you, and I can tell you this. They are going to drag this out as long as they can to exhaust you mentally, emotionally, and financially. They're going to drag this out because that is what they do.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what they do. That right there is their way of saying, you know what, she's going to give up eventually. Let's drag it out as long as we can. Let's say there's no judge. Let's put off the case for another couple of years. Let's put it off for another couple of months, and until she gets frustrated. That's the intent. And they are going to do that until you spend all your money. You already mentioned that you've exhausted yourself financially, and that is the plan. They want you to just drop it. They want you to leave it alone. And yeah, exactly. They want you to give up, Brian. That's what they want her to do. They want you to just give up and not pursue anything at all. And I know you said you were paying a lot of money to barristers and stuff like that. So they didn't even try to cut you some slack, give you a little bit of leniency in any way, these barristers that you're paying to do this? I mean, I understand they're doing their job, but
Well, the current barrister, he hasn't really. But if I haven't got the full amount, the only leeway that he allows is that I pay by installment, which only on this occasion, the last occasion in June, I paid by installment. But of all the legal representatives that I have had since 2005, I can say hand on heart, he has been the best. He has been transparent. He has done what I've paid him to do. Basically, he has done the best that I think he can do.
Now, you said since 2005. That's 17 years this has been ongoing.
Yes, but Omar died without getting the adaptation. He had no, not the strange thing about it. In 2009, well, in 2005, Omar was as a gift, he was given a powered wheelchair. The local authority took it away, stating that it was for health and safety reasons, which I couldn't understand. You know, had they carried out the adaptation work, then Omar would have been able to use his powered wheelchair. Even to go on the Make-A-Wish trip to Florida, the wheelchair service refused to return the wheelchair. They were saying, we cannot give it to you for health and safety reasons. I tried to explain, well, I'm not in the house, I'm going away. So therefore, you know, there's no risk. And all they did was to loan Omar a foldable wheelchair. Now, there was no support. He's now losing his sturdiness. And, you know, they treated him so severe, so inhumane.
So you said you have to pay £4,000. Now,
Yes, that was a cost.
what is the guarantee that after you pay this £4,000, they will lift the stay?
Oh yes, because it was made in the. Sorry, I didn't mention this in the at the hearing on the 23rd of June. The order of the judge is that once the cost is paid, then the application is then made by my barrister to lift the stay. Then the local authority has to pay because it's a court order. You know, it was a court order made by this judge in June. So
Right.
there's no
But
ins and outs.
But this is what's confusing me. You're saying that the barrister is going to then make an application, but making an application is not a guarantee.
Sorry, what I'm saying, what had happened, they tried to tie my hands behind my back and put in a gagging order in the form of a extended restraining order. Now, what had happened, this restraining order was made in, was it January, February of this year. And because when we went to court, what had happened, because there were 3 live cases, the judge then said it wouldn't be affected. So when I say 3 live case, there's a case for the direct payment, there's a case to put my home back in the order that it was, and then there's a case against the local authority for a breach of duty of care and negligence for the death of my son. So those weren't affected in the restraining order. So the only application that has to be made is to lift the stay in legal terms, meaning until the £4,000 is paid, then I cannot get the money that is owing. So that is what the application is for. It's not against the money. It's just an application to the court to say, yes, I've paid the £4,000 now, so you can move away with the stay, in layman's terms.
Mm-hmm. And what's the present balance? Because I know you said that it goes down every year.
Well, from 3,391, it went down to 200 and, was it 200 and something thousand? And a year later, it's now 126. But most of the 300, I wouldn't say most, but some of it was discounted because of this 6-year statute of limitation. I think it's called statute of limitation, you know, where you can only, say for argument's sake, they owed me 10 years amount of money. I can only claim 6 years. So some of the 391,000 was discounted as a result.
And they know exactly what they're doing, Carla. They're dragging it out as long as possible, so all that money goes, and you get nothing. That is exactly
But
what
I
they're
think
doing.
at this stage now, the ball is in my court, if I'm putting it right, because the sooner I pay the £4,000, then they've got no excuse. I then make the application to say, here is the £4,000 to the local authority for their cost from 2019, and that's it. Then they then have to pay. As I said, it's on my iPad, but there's a court order. This time we're dealing with a court order where it says once the cost is paid,
Mm-hmm.
then the application is made for the stay to be lifted.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so all right. No, I know you mentioned to me earlier um, about setting up some kind of donation method to assist you with that. But have you probably opened an account dedicated to funds being donated to you for that in any way? Have you done so?
I haven't, because this was only an idea. A friend called me yesterday, well, he emailed me, and what he was suggesting is that I go to a local radio station and put the case to them. But it's not finalized yet. It was just suggesting that we set up a GoFund or we contact the media and the radio station and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just in the pipeline, so to speak. I'm meeting him on Thursday to discuss it in more detail, to see what is viable and what isn't viable.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, definitely, if anyone reaches out to me, I will definitely make the connection between you and them, and hopefully someone will reach out to assist, and you will get the help that you seek. And please keep us
As I say,
updated.
anything that is offered, I will, make a contract to reimburse, because it's to pay the carers that I appointed who assisted me with Omar in his last days. And it's unfair that they are out of pocket because of me. But now, as I said, the judge has made an order against the local authority, because what they wanted was to have the case dismissed. And, there was two applications, one to have it dismissed or to have it stayed. Well, the dismissal was rejected, and they were granted to have it stayed. But then the onus is on me now to have that stay lifted.
Right. All right. I will definitely reach out to you if anyone contacts me in relation to what you shared, and hopefully that will help some way, somehow. And once again, I do hope you accept our condolences in losing your son.
I do, yes. I'm looking at his picture.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So I will reach
Thanks
out to you
for
and keep in
taking
touch.
my call.
Sure. All right. Take care.
Okay. And thanks to all the listeners for listening.
Great. Have a good night. All right, Unstoppable family. There we have it, tonight's program. Now, this is a sad one. And like you heard me say earlier to the caller, that, the system know what them do. Exactly, Sharon. Them protect each other. You understand? They protect each other. And I just hope that, if and when she pays this £4,000, them not try to drag it out on her even longer, in as a way of not having to pay her. You understand? I just hope they don't do that, because them slick and sly, and that's the thing about it. You understand? Brian says this I want to stress me out. Brian, I could just imagine how the lady feels. years. From 2005, this has been ongoing. That's a lot of years, viewers, for her to be dealing with this case. You understand? And your family, we are at the end of the program right now, and I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight for tonight's program. All right, thanks to every person that shared. And Michelle, big up yourself. Michelle became a member tonight. Family, welcome Michelle to the Unstoppable Army. She signed up and she's rocking her golden VIP badge. All right, and Oral sent in a super chat contribution. Oral, thank you, my brother, as well as Michelle sent in a super chat as well. That is appreciated. All right, now if you haven't signed up to get your badge, make sure you say it's consider signing up and get your badge, alright? So you can rock your badge beside your name like Zenobia and Brian and Michelle and everybody will rock them badge. I'm seeing Sovilia in the building tonight. Sovilia, thank you so much for being here. I know you're working and probably you're there at work right now, a sneaker one tech scene. But much love to Sevilla always. Alright, Mina Unstoppable checking in, even though she dep on a big bad hot vacation at Jamaica. You want to see her today on Instagram, but she will lay off on beach and a show off pretty foot and thing. You want to see her on beach at Jamaica. But go on, yeah, Mina, live your life. A one life you have, my friend. Go on, enjoy yourself down there. Nothing wrong with that at all. Alright. Now I'm seeing Teresa here as well. And without a doubt, Teresa always there every single night though. And not to mention, alright, Sylvia reached out. Big up to Sylvia. Sylvia says she has convention this week. So if you see she pop in every now and then, says she there convention, but she a pop in and show her face same way. And if you don't see she pop in, she there at church. Alright, so big up to Sylvia for reaching out as well. Natalia, go on, much love to you. Alright, so the regular them they are same way. And you don't know who I go fall off, who I go drop off. But the loyal ones will always remain. Alright, Lurleen is in the building. So family, we are going to wrap up right now. Remember, if you have a story you want to share, the platform welcomes you. We have some great shows lined up for the next couple of weeks. I've scheduled several programs so far, and some of them are going to have you up on the edge of your seat. You understand? Believe me. All right? So if you haven't signed up as yet to get your badge, sign up. And remember, if you're watching the program and you're unable to comment, maybe it's because you haven't hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, then that feature is not open to you. All right, so subscribe and turn on the notification as well. All right, officials, it's your time now to start marching out. March out and rock your badge. All right, so we can give you a shout out and make you know what go on. Miss Sugar Sweet in the building. Blessings, thank you for checking in. All right, march out with the custom emoji family so we can give the shout outs and jump and get out of here in the last 3 minutes of this live stream. All right, so of course may I have to say much love to Zenobia, who's rocking her loyalty star 27 months straight. Zenobia has been rocking her badge. Wap, 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 wap. Go on, Zenobia. Kissy rocking her loyalty star as well. And she is rocking 28 months. Wap, 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 wap. Kimon just came rolling out again, rocking her 22 months straight. Go on, show off, yeah, hey. When can show off, you see? Kimon rock her badge for 22 months straight. So Kimon, you so reach a loyalty star too, You're so 2 more months, Kimon. In 2 months, you're going to reach loyalty star. Oh, you mean? Who else are at them loyalty star? Nobody else has reached loyalty star yet. I know Mama Jai have our loyalty star. All right, so that's Mama Jai, Zenobia, Kizzy, who else? Somebody else just reached loyalty star a while ago. You see it? So go and rock on a loyalty star. Yes, 20. What? Alright, so march out has begun. Brian is marching out right now, rocking his Extreme VIP. We got Mina Unstoppable rocking an Extreme VIP badge as well. Cindy is in the building and she's rocking a Golden VIP. Alright, I'm here searching for my wife in the comment section. How are your wife now? What you know, no Father God? How are your wife? Oh, are you look a wife in the comment section? I wonder how I go on. Keisha Highly Blessed is in the building rocking her badge as well. We got none other than Kimon marching out rocking her badge. We got who else? What you want me and she? I said, me I go highlight my one too, 21 months, 3 months more. And yeah, rock your loyalty star, me now. What you mean? Yes. All right. And as I said, Michelle is rocking her golden VIP. Navlet just came rolling out rocking a #1 fan badge. Much love to you, Navlet. Lurleen is in the building and Lurleen is rocking her golden VIP badge, of course. Make we see. Who else? Iridata is rocking her extreme VIP. Iridata, highlight your one. Make we see how much months you rock your one to. Highlight it, Iridata. Make we see it. Alright. Jen is in the building rocking a super VIP badge as well. Candice, come the man, highlight Candice, highlight. We want to see how much months you rock your badge. Candice is rocking her extreme VIP badge. So Iridata and Candice, come highlight, make we see. Cause I know I rock on the badge for a couple months, well now. So make we see how much months. It's like how me in a highlight for 1 and it's showing 21 months. Kizzy highlight for 1 and it's showing 20, how much? 28. And Zenobia highlight for 1 and it's 27 months. Oh, you mean? Alright. Sharon says it's not discrimination to the system. The whole system sucks. I know your loss and feelings. Exactly, Sharon. Yes. All right. So we reached the... Oh, yeah. Look at wife. me think your wife today a lurk. All right. I get what you say. All right. So family, much love. I'm going to run right now. Come call me yard because I do live somewhere. So I come run, get out of the studio and go home. All right. And I will be here Wednesday night sharp. Me I go make sure I say everything dep on it, P's and Q's and cross my T's and dot my I's and make sure I say when it hit 9 o'clock, boom, the show start on the dot without any hiccups or errors. Alright, don't worry yourself. I would say I don't remember how to do it. Much love. Family, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm gone left on nothing now, but I will be back on Wednesday. Oh, if you don't follow me on TikTok, go over there and follow me. Alright? Cause me over there too. Alright? Yeah, me know. So if you don't follow me, go over there. It's on. I want my TikTok again, Kizzy. Rosemary is rocking her badge as well. Rosemary Clark Unstoppable is rocking a super VIP badge. Much love to you, Rosemary. Me tell you what my TikTok name so you can go over there, go follow me. It's Unstoppable TV 1. Alright, the #1. So type in Unstoppable TV and the #1 and follow me over there on TikTok. Alright, let's get the numbers up over there. Now what I'm doing over TikTok is I'm giving you a shorter version of the show. So it's, a shorter version of the show we're going over here so you can keep up with what's going on. Alright, so family, if you have not followed me yet over there, jump over there and follow me because I do go live on TikTok too. So sometimes when you not see me on YouTube, me there over there all one reason we don't know on TikTok. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And yeah, TikTok more engaging and more fun because over there so you can just tap off the like screen as much as you want and not just one like alone you can get a bunch of like thousands of likes if you want. Alright, so it's Unstoppable TV 1 over there on TikTok. Alright, Candice is rocking her badge now for 22 months. Oh, you mean Candice? So 2 more months and you're rocking your loyalty star, Candice, in 2 more months. Alright, yes. So family, anyway, I said 3 minutes and I done gone 6 minutes. I gone left on here. I will see you all on... Now man, listen me. Any story you have to share this platform, welcome you. So link me, just send me a message. Alright, the number 75431757747. Just send a message and say I have a story, man. Every story is welcomed on this platform. It no matter how wicked it is, trust me. The viewers want to hear where I go on. Alright, family, blessings, much love, and I'm out.
See the music, 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 move your waistline, move your shoulders.